Howdy folks, how's it diddling? Today's video, I'm doing handbrake shoes on the daily driver, the Volvo V70 D5. So I've already done one side, which is joyful. So I'm going to do this side and, oh, shut up Willow, behave. That's just my mum's dog. So yeah, let's crack on. How much rust? All of it. Right, first effort, obviously jack the vehicle up and make sure that it's all secure. So you have this clip here, which is just like an anti-rattle clip. So you pop that off. Then you've got two sliding pins. So one there and one there. I've already undone them with a big fat old Allen key. So pull them out so they're nice, and then you get your jammeroo, and then just you kind of just jiggle off the caliper. Might be worth just see if we can push that back. There we go. So when I put this together, these sliding pins, I'll give them a bit of grease to make sure that they're fine. Oh, get in there. Oh, that's all right. That'll be okay. So the reason I'm doing this, I've been meaning to do this job for quite a while, but I've not bothered because, well, luckily this being a manual, you can just chuck it into first gear or reverse, and that's adequate enough to hold it on a hill. The handbrakes do kind of hold, but not brilliant. So yeah, the reason I'm doing this is because the car's due for its MOT soon, so yeah, it'll probably be advised on these rear springs being a bit corroded, but it should pass. Right, next job, remove the brake pad. That looks all right, not too bad. Plop that down. Now remove the carrier, which you got two bolts here, 13mm. So I'll just crack them off now, and then you got looks like a 10mm nut. So once taken that off, undo that, and then pull the drum off. Fantastic. So we've just undone the top one. Now you don't want to take it fully out because if you do and you go to undo the bottom one, the caliper will not the caliper, the carrier will go sliding about. So now they're undone. Undo the bolts and then drop them somewhere so you can't bloody find them. Found it. And there we go. Now, bit of safety and practice, just put the bolts, just take them out and put them back in the hole. Obviously we'll have to give this carrier a bit of a clean up with a wire brush. Yeah. So next is this. Little 10mm bolt, not sure if that's factory. And then using your hammer, got a copper hammer and like a soft blow, give it a bit of love, and there we go. How's that? Oh, not too bad. Bit of schmooze in there. Ooh, that one's holding on for dear life. Let me bring you in a bit closer and see the debacle that's going on. So here's your brake shoes. So these are inboard shoes. So you still have a disc with your caliper, but then your handbrake goes inside here instead of being on the caliper itself, like Vauxhalls and stuff like that. Now, first bit doesn't look too bad. That's clearly not right. That's a bit, yeah, there's plenty of meat on them, you know, compared to the new ones. But these look very glazed, and you can see there's chunks on them, so we're just going to change them. I've also got a new fitting kit as well, which comprises of oh, there's a spring missing there. Oh, I bet it's around the other side. But yeah, so you get this big spring here, this little spring, and then these two. So time to take that one out. So there's one there, and then one down here somewhere, and we'll go from there. All right, get yourself a pair of nice long-nosed pliers. This will probably fall out, he says. Oh, it's fighting me. It's actually in. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so it's, yeah, it's hooked the wrong way. Now, a lot of people don't like doing brake shoes, and I can understand why, because they're not the funnest of things to do. You always get one that's an absolute pig. There we go. So it had been hooked the wrong way, so that's no bueno. And there's the other bit. Let's just slide onto the floor. Move my tools out the way so I don't get poked up the arse. So that's the last thing I need to do. Is this one going to play ball? Probably not. Now, if you were planning on reusing these, then you wouldn't be so brutal, but I've got new ones anyway, so it don't matter. Undo that spring there. Then we can prise these buggers apart. Need to keep that. This one's been an absolute bellend. Oh, I'll tell you what, let's just cut straight to violence. Cut the bugger off. There we go. Right, there we have the brake shoes off. So let me show you on the ground here of how it roughly goes together. So there we go. So you've got this piece of bar which will sit here, and you've got this spring just to help tighten that up. That big spring helps force it together, and then this goes onto here. So when you pull your handbrake, the bottom of the handbrake, this bit here, goes into there, and then the top bit there goes into there. So when you yank on the old handbrake, it opens them up. So it is worth noting, before you do handbrake shoes or even drums, slacken off, depending on the vehicle, slacken off. There's usually a 10mm or an 8mm nut on the handbrake, so you just have to back that off. With this one, the previous owner, not me, had kind of it failed its MOT last year on efficiency on the rear handbrake shoes, and all they'd done to be able to get it through the MOT was just put a 10mm socket on it and just tightened it up, and it just gave it enough, but clearly it's not great. So here we are changing calipers. So yeah, all right, next, get those sorted. And there is a particular way to get them. So they look identical, but if you have a look here, there we go, it's always worth matching up. The handbrake shoes, so you can see that lead edge there matches, that matches. Now these are kind of universal, they go one way or the other, but it's always handy and good practice just to lay them on top to make sure that the friction material matches up with the old ones. So let's get these built up with new springs and blah 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 and throw them on. Winner. Right, so shoes are in. Ta-da. Didn't record it because, well, I'm going to be honest, there was a lot of swearing going on, so and I want to try and keep this channel as friendly as possible. So your next job, which is always fun, taking these little things, not that I can see bugger all. Let's get this bottom one in first. Probably have better chances. He says. He hopes. Oh, come on, you fucking bugger. Oh, stop being an absolute arse biscuit. Let me get back to you on this one. Right, at this point, my microphone wasn't turned on, so doing a quick voiceover. So as you can see, the springs are in. They took a bit of fettling because the new springs happen to be a bit thicker, and I'm just explaining that, and they wouldn't fit into the hole. Ooh-ah. That's why I was having a bit of trouble getting them in, but a bit of persuasion. And yeah, so at this point, just kind of waffling on, saying time to chuck the disc back on. Because it's pretty much all bolted ready. So as you can see, just throw the disc on and getting it all lined up correctly, making sure that you can fit the 10mm bolt. There we go, just try and get that located in. Like I say, you have to try and get it, that's it, just give a bit of a bang on the disc, just try and line it up the best you can so you don't cross thread the bugger. But you know what they say, cross-threading is better than Loctite. Try and spit my words out. And there we go. So that's the disc all on. Just give it a bit of a twonk with the hammer. Make sure that it's all fine and dandy. And then chuck the caliper back on. And start building it all back up. So I'm searching around for my tools. Can't find my bloody socket. Typical. But found it. So there we go. Got the carrier. Unwinding the nuts now, throw that back in as the dog comes to inspect, make sure that I'm doing a proper job, and just like any decent manager, buggers off and leaves you to it. So there we go, just start ratcheting the bolts. Now there is a torque setting for these, but at the end of the day, just make sure it's tight. There is a little bit of thread lock left on there from last time, and you know, they're not going to vibrate loose at any point, so just make sure they're tight, but not to the point where you're going to bloody snap them off, because then you'll be in a world of pain. But yeah, so quickly ratchet them up. There we go. That's it. Last bit of a yeet on it, not too much, and done and dusted. Right, caliper on and pads in. Right, that's all the caliper put back together. You've got the anti-rattle shim put in. And don't forget these little dust covers as well that go on. That's it, chuck the wheel on, get inside, and then adjust the old handbrake. Now, we're inside the car, so the way to adjust the handbrake and slacken it off on the Volvo, take this little cover off, it's a bit mullered, and lift up this little flap, and you've got this nut here. So what we're going to do is just adjust on that, and then see how many turns of the handbrake Now I did slack this right off, so we'll like I say, tighten it up and go from there. Might take a while, so I'll come back to you when it's pretty much done. Right, and there we go. So handbrake's all done, it's been adjusted, clicked back in, so off. Now I did do this whilst the back of the vehicle is still up in the air, so I could tighten it a bit and then go around and check. I went to tighten the wheel nuts up, so that's the best way to kind of test it. So just put the 19mm socket on the wheel with a pry bar and just kind of, and if it starts to move easy, it needs more adjustment. But you're looking between about 3 and 6 clicks. So if we count them off, 1, 2, 3, and that's pretty much it. That's solid. Before I got this done, it was like handbrake was right up here. So yeah, so 1, 2, 3. So that's all sorted and done and dusted. So hopefully next video will be either on the MG or the Renault, depends on the weather and bits and pieces and everything like that. So yeah, right folks, that's going to do it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this kind of content, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, entirely up to you. Like, share, subscribe, comment as well. Always appreciate your comments, and do message you back as well, even if it's just a thumbs up or a little typo, you know, anything is good. So yeah, so until the next time folks, oh yeah, also forgot, you can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and also X, formerly known as Twitter. But until next time folks, have a good one, and remember, tidy bar.